Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
What's up, you guys? This is John.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
Everybody loves a winner. Everyone can see that I am. Everybody follows the leader, baby. Cruising down the streets of Siam.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, John.
Hey, brother. How are you doing?
How's it going, buddy?
I'm so great. I'm here, not going crazy from being in self-isolation from COVID-19. We wish you all well who are listening at home.
Yeah. And
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk a little bit more about Kickboxer.
Oh, man, we hope you're all very excited to talk about Kickboxer. We encourage you to go to the refrigerator, grab a beverage, and strap yourselves in. It's going to be a toned, greased, bumpy ride through the Thai jungle.
Where did we leave off?
Okay, so you may remember ISKA champ Eric Sloan, after a successful title defense, decides that he should fly to Thailand to defend his title against the Thai champ Tong Po.
Yep.
At the arena, his brother Kurt realizes that Thai kickboxing is way different and sees Thai champ Tong Po kicking a structural support column with a crazy glint in his eye and begs Eric to back out. Eric says, "Shut up or go home," and proceeds to get the ever-loving shit kicked out of him, literally, by Tong Po, who, to add insult to injury, breaks Eric's back. With no one else to turn to, Kurt begs Taylor, who he meets at the arena, an ex-military guy, to take them to the hospital. And that was episode 1.
Ooh, I'm winded. That was a whirlwind.
It was.
They are cramming a lot of story into a small package.
A lot happened, even though it doesn't really seem like a whole lot happened. It's brisk.
But so the story picks up. We're at the hospital where a nurse tells Kurt that they won't know anything about Eric's condition until the morning.
Yeah, so they're at this Chameleon, however you pronounce it. That hospital is apparently still there today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. I understand this film, I think they filmed a lot in Thailand, but they also filmed a lot of it in Hong Kong, a lot of the interiors and stuff like that. Yeah, so that made me wonder if the hospital was in Thailand or in Hong Kong. So that's cool.
They just stayed there from Bloodsport. I love that the clock in the lobby says 10 past 8. Presumably in the evening, and that visitors' hours ended at 6 p.m., no exceptions.
You know what?
Maybe it's because it's an emergency.
Yeah, this is the exception.
Yeah, that's okay.
So we cut to, it's the next morning. The guys are kind of asleep, and a doctor comes in, and he tells Kurt that Eric is paralyzed and he will not ever walk again.
Yeah. So, and this was sort of in answer to my question that I raised in episode 1. The doctor says that the injury, and this doc, we give major kudos to the doc here, because this is a completely believable performance from this guy. He's not like coming in as like all grim faced and heavy sighing or anything like that. He's just very like, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. But the doctor
not overdoing it. Yeah.
He says the injury was at the T10, the 10th vertebrae. And apparently that's a part of the section of the spinal cord that is the most vulnerable to injury due to the high flexibility of the body at that point.
I feel like Tong Po knew this.
He would, that bastard.
He targeted that. But as you say, the doctor was awesome. Like, I thought his performance he's very grave, but also sympathetic to it and everything. And I think, he said they did everything they could, and there's just nothing they can do. And then Kurt sort of goes into a rage. He starts to manhandle the doctor. He's telling him, "You're going to make him walk again."
That's not the way medicine works, Kurt. Come on.
But Taylor, who was still there, he sort of steps in and separates them. I found myself thinking, there's just I can't see Taylor spending the night in the waiting room with him.
Well, I think it's supposed to immediately establish that this Taylor guy is already feeling some sort of bond or camaraderie with,
obviously,
with Kurt Sloan. And so
that's a far way he's come from the there's two more fights. Or like, you're giving Americans a bad rep. Yeah, he's come a long way.
Yeah.
But so, the doctor basically tells him Eric's going to be here in the hospital for 3 months before he can be moved, and says he's sorry that they did everything they could do for him.
It's heartfelt. It's a heavy moment.
So Kurt he sits down, his head in his hands. He goes into a rage, and he through tears says he wants Tong Po.
Yeah, and so Taylor throws up his hands and's like, you should just take your brother back home. And then we also get this weird line, I'm not signing your death warrant too.
Yeah, there's some backstory, I guess, we don't know about. We kind of never find out about it.
Right.
But
what does he mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess maybe a lot of guys he served with died.
He's gotten a few people killed in his time, I guess.
Yeah.
But Kurt says he's going to do whatever it takes, basically. He's going to get his revenge. Taylor, again, he says, I'm not going to help you. And Kurt says, well, then I'll just do it on my own. I don't need your help. And then oddly, Taylor says the only way you're going to get to Tong Po is inside the ring, and you can't beat him there, basically.
Yeah, says I'm not going to help you, but let me give you this little nugget of help.
And then he says, if you try to get him outside the ring, they'll kill all of us. And I'm not sure what that means. He's
Team Sloan already. Well, him and those two hookers from earlier.
Maybe. I'm just like, every American, everyone. I don't know what he means by they'll all be killed.
It's a very ride or die mentality from Taylor instantly. And he's dialed up to 15 in this scene.
The quote was, you go after him outside the ring and we're all dead. All of us. He's too valuable to them.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. I don't know what it means. Honestly, I think the real reason that he's saying this is just to try to get the audience on board with the fact that it has to be a fight.
I wish that
he can't just walk in with a gun and try to kill Tong Po or anything.
But I wish that Taylor had been leaving the bathroom as the doctor was coming in to deliver the bad news, maybe doing some cocaine, which would explain for why he is so wired during this whole scene.
Taylor is?
Yeah, he's just wired. He's just
this guy likes to party. We know that.
He tells Kurt one last time that he's not good enough to fight Tong Po, and Kurt responds with a "we'll see." But then he says it 3 more times as he's walking down the hall away from him. He's like, "We'll see. We'll see." Okay, man, chill.
Then Kurt, he goes in to see Eric, who's still unconscious. It seems like he's just come out of surgery.
Yeah.
And Kurt punches the wall very melodramatically.
No one likes drywall in this movie. No drywall is safe.
Then we get this movie's sappy, soul-searching montage.
Montage number 2.
Yeah, he's wandering the streets of Bangkok, doing a little sightseeing. Set to the lovely song "Fight for Love" by Stan Bush again.
Not "We Fight for Love" by Power Station from Commando. Similar sentiment. Sometimes you got to fight for love, man. It sounds almost exactly like Phil Collins' "In the Air Tonight" at the beginning of the song.
It does have that mellow. Yeah, it's a mellow, very introspective vibe.
Very, very similar.
Yeah. But dude, Van Damme is a staple of his work to wander a Southeast Asian town, reminiscing on what's gone wrong. I don't know.
There's lots of sad sack walking around temples and cloisters and looking at Buddha statues. Lots of Buddha statues.
Dude, it is also a great tourism video for Thailand because it looks awesome there.
Fantastic. Yeah.
There's that massive, the golden reclined statue. That shit was straight out of Street Fighter, dude.
I would love to see that. Yeah,
from
totally.
Sagat's level.
From Sagat, yeah.
Yeah.
uppercut.
Tiger, me.
You win. Perfect.
Dude, Sagat was my favorite to fight with on there.
He's bad.
His style was awesome. Freaking Muay Thai shit.
Yeah, Ryu's my guy, but Sagat's just a taller Ryu, so it's sort of like this movie.
Basically. Dude, do you think that character is based off Tong Po?
Probably.
I wonder if that video game predated the movie. Probably not.
It didn't.
No, yeah, then they stole that shit.
Yeah, for real.
But Kurt goes to the first of, I think, 3 Muay Thai gyms where he's basically asked to get trained. But he walks in, the guy who seems to be running the gym, there's scores of young kids in there training.
Several dozen kids, all
I would say 50 plus
rocking,
people in there.
And everyone's in great shape.
And then the guy who's running the gym tells everyone to stop,
blows a whistle,
what they're doing, and watch this conversation in which Kurt tells him he wants to learn Muay Thai so he can fight Tong Po. The guy says something to all the students in Thai.
Look at this fucking guy.
We can only guess what it is. This dumb fuck says he wants to fight Tong Po or something like that, and he gets laughed out of the building.
I like the reaction from the kids is sort of believable until you can see that all of them are kind of looking off screen, like off camera at someone that's like telling them like, raise your arms.
Raise a flag and tells them that's your cue to start laughing now.
But they're fine. So bye, Kurt. Poor dejected Kurt walks out. I know, he walks out of there
real sad. This happens presumably a couple more times.
I like that as soon as he walks out of the gym, the song kicks back in too. It's like they pushed pause on the song just long enough for him to walk out.
Yeah. So about one of the gyms he comes walking out of, Taylor is there waiting for him.
Right.
And Taylor tells him, you're really serious about this training. He's like, okay, so I might know someone who would train you. And he says there's only one guy that's crazy enough to train him, the guy named Xian, who lives out in the sticks.
It was during this whole exchange to my adult ears that I started to notice that it sounded like Van Damme had regressed as far as his ability to stumble through some English.
Oh, really?
He sounds less plausible in this movie than he did in Bloodsport.
I wonder if this is really early in the production or late in the production. He's tired. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically Kurt's telling him, all right, let's take me there right now.
Take me to this guy, Xian.
And Taylor tells him, no, we're going to the titty bar first.
Fuck now, we're going drinking now.
Fuck now. We're going drinking now. Did you also notice Taylor had a red thong hanging from his rearview mirror in the van? This guy is a fucking party monster.
You want me to take you tomorrow? We go drinking tonight. That's the deal. And Kevin, I take that deal 9 out of 10 times. And I love the bar options he gives him.
He gives him options. He's like, are we going to the Pink Pussy or the Kitten Candy Club?
I know. Which one are we going to? Which one are we going to first?
Van Damme tells him, I don't suppose we can just go back to the hotel. Taylor says, fuck no. It's like, don't worry, I know a nice, mellow place.
And it is anything but.
It is popping off in there. There's all types of naked chicks.
I just love that Taylor is clearly a regular. People know him. They know his drink order.
He is on fire when they walk in there. He's like, ow, hurt me. He's waving his hat, like fanning himself.
I love to think of Taylor just being coked out of his mind 100% of the time.
Definitely some shit. Maybe he's not running guns so much as he's running cocaine or heroin out of there.
I love the line as they're taking in the scene. You should see how she opens up a soda bottle, which immediately recalls that one worker at the Claremont Lounge. She's legendary, but she can like crush a Pabst can between her tits.
Yes, I can't remember her name.
I can't either.
Okay, Goldie.
There you go.
Goldie is her name. Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, they're ordering drinks. I think Van Damme says he just wants water, so he tells him bring out some Perrier. Then 5 beers and 3 Perriers later, Taylor is like telling Kurt his life story.
Oh my God.
So he says he stayed in Thailand after Vietnam, and now he's an arms dealer. He says he's just enjoying life's many pleasures.
Well, this is crazy. He says guns and grenades and mines I can buy. Like I can buy that he can get that stuff, but armored cars and tanks?
I don't know what his connections are.
Maybe he's still got some buddies, I guess, in the military.
But those things must be being stolen then, right?
He is stealing them, or he's helping. He is facilitating the theft of United States military stuff. I can't think of the word.
But he's basically telling him his story. He says, or he's telling him, well, he's given a lot of exposition. Let's be real. But he tells him that Tong Po's handler is this very bad gangster named Freddie Lee.
He's one bad motherfucker.
He's the guy, the shady guy we saw sort of running the show in the arena earlier.
Silk shirt, pendant necklace. You remember the guy.
Now, Kurt asked the question that we've all been wondering, which is, why have you decided to help? Yeah. And Taylor tells him, he's like, in Vietnam, I had a very good friend. He was like a brother to me, and he needed me. When he needed me, I wasn't there for him, and he died, presumably. So now when he saw another guy wanting to help his brother out, he was moved and decided he had to help out.
That PTSD kicked in, and Taylor knew he had to help. And now
so now I'm like, okay, maybe that's why he, also stayed the night there in the hospital.
Yeah. He immediately felt that connection.
So then we cut to the next day. I can't even imagine. Well, I guess, Kurt would be feeling right as rain. Taylor's probably hungover.
No.
Or maybe that was a light night for Taylor.
Taylor is never hungover. Not once.
It helps he never went to sleep. So
exactly.
He just did a bunch of lines.
So yeah, they're like driving through the fucking jungle, and
awesome scenery.
We're not sure. Yeah, the Steve Winwoodsy, Huey Lewis style rock blues song is very incongruent with the rustic surrounding. Like while they're driving around in this van.
It was a change of pace, not a Stan Bush number. It was something else. Yeah, a little, like you said, it's had a little soul to it.
Yeah. And what the fuck is Jean-Claude wearing?
I don't know. I paused on the Blu-ray to try to read, because it was kind of like a blue shirt with the sort of epaulets on the shoulders.
Yeah.
And then it had a big patch with writing on it. But I paused on the Blu-ray and tried to read the writing, and it was just sort of like broken English.
Yeah.
On it. It's something about like air supply. It's supposed to seem military-ish.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it was probably bought in the Hong Kong, marketplace or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big thing in Asia, I think, is just that the English looks cool. So you see a lot of shirts and stuff with English phrases that make no sense, because people they don't know what it says. They just think that it looks cool to have English writing on it. Anyway. So yeah, Taylor drops him off at this very primitive looking property with like thatched roof huts and everything like that. Taylor says he's got some other business to attend to, but he'll be back in a few hours. Yeah. We presume it's either a gun deal or something even more salacious.
Yeah. Xian's property doesn't look like much, but that place now would cost you $300 a night on Airbnb.
Oh yeah, sure. Dude. No, it looked like a remote paradise, but I don't understand, how does Taylor not hang around to make an introduction?
That's not Taylor's style.
Do you think that Taylor called ahead to let Xian know they were coming? Xian probably doesn't have phones out there.
Xian doesn't have a phone. No, he ain't got a phone.
So anyway, he just left him there knowing, presumably, that Xian's a little crazy and he's got traps everywhere.
Well, it's at this moment also that I realized that aside from the denim vest jeans combo, all Kurt apparently brought to Thailand was one pair of severely pleated khakis and a selection of weird button-down shirts and muscle tanks.
Those khakis he was wearing had the most pleats I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
But they allow you to kick, I guess, and everything like that, to do splits.
That's right.
That's Van Damme's, when he's buying a garment, that is his primary concern, is, can I do a split?
Like, how much stretch is in this material?
That's awesome. So Kurt takes about 2 steps onto the property and gets snared in a trap that leaves him hanging upside down from a tree.
Right.
I don't know how. So I could see how the little loop or whatever that you step in, maybe you can't see that. It's camouflaged, but there would be a rope like leading up to the tree that you would see.
You got it all hid, man. Xian knows what's going on. He's into booby traps.
Yeah. So then at that point, Xian steps out. He asks him who he is, what he wants. Kurt says he wants to learn Muay Thai, to which Xian says, but you're American.
Was it the accent that gave me away?
What? How do you hear Van Damme say anything and leap to the conclusion that he's American?
Can you tell that I was born and raised in California or wherever?
I would say,
what the fuck?
You're definitely not American.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just call him a Westerner, but you're a Westerner. I don't know. Anything but American would have made more sense.
Before this podcast was even a gleam in my eye, that line always drove me crazy about this movie.
Yeah.
But you're American.
Oh
what?
my gosh.
No, he's not. He's clearly not. He's a white guy.
Well, maybe it's sort of maybe it's the next line. He was like, well, because I heard about the American that lost very badly in the fight, and I just assumed that you're somehow related. But that's giving the screenwriters too much credit.
No, definitely so. Yeah. Xian says he heard about the American. He lost very badly in fight last week. And Kurt tells him, well, that's my brother, and now he can't walk. And that seems to sort of sober up Xian a little bit. He takes it a little more seriously. He walks off. He cuts him down out of the trap. He comes back and he warns Kurt that revenge is a dangerous motive.
Yeah. To which Van Damme replies, but it's also a powerful one.
That's right.
And I say this only movie Sith deals in absolutes, Kevin.
This movie never comes back around as most movies do with the lesson of, revenge is not the way.
Right.
This movie is kind of like, revenge is the way. Revenge is the shit, you guys.
It's the only way.
Like vengeance, isn't that, or wrath? That's like one of the 7 deadly sins. Anyway,
yes, wrath is,
But they start walking together a little bit, and Xian is like, "Don't step there." And dude, this guy Dennis Chan, Xian, he's a funny guy, man. He's got great comedy timing.
Yeah, I get why that you say that. It's a little hit or miss for me because it's right on the border of being like hokey. The portrayal.
Oh yeah.
And I think that it's supposed to be. I mean, it's a portrayal of the stock elderly, like wise, witty, seemingly quaint, yet deceptively powerful martial arts master.
Well, he's got I feel like he's got, maybe more than a little Mr. Miyagi in him.
Well, yeah. And I went on a Wikipedia dive for like the specific archetype for this character. And because, the martial arts master is a film archetype, and it's like a whole laundry list of personality traits and physical characteristics and mannerisms: older, reserved, serene, self-assured. And it reads sort of like a high school essay and chock full of generalizations. But the ones that the guy that wrote the article alludes to the most are Miyagi and Karate Kid and Shinzo Tanaka and Bloodsport.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tanaka was a pretty serious guy. He didn't have a whole lot of funny bone in his body, really. But yeah, Xian maybe he's somewhere in between the two.
Totally. Got to have some comedy besides Taylor, I guess.
So he asks, well, why have you come to me? And then Kurt tells him that Taylor said, you're the only guy who might train me.
Right.
And Xian says, Taylor's a funny guy and he's crazy. And Kurt says, well, Taylor said the same thing about you. I don't know much about the relationship between Taylor and Xian. It's never explained, but I would watch the prequel movie about their how they came to be connected.
I like to think of it as being like maybe Xian helped the U.S. during the Vietnam conflict or something like that. They needed somebody to come and help them out, train the fighters in the jungle and stuff like that. And maybe they just stayed friends over time.
Who knows, man? Xian could be growing the poppies out there. He's I don't know, man. It's wild, but I do like the dynamic that they seem like they have a history.
It makes total sense.
Right. So Xian asks Kurt if he's a good fighter. Kurt says yes. Yes, you got good defense. Yes, of course. Then Xian does some crazy kung fu shit in his face.
He's flies in the air
and throws a bunch of kicks and punches on one
while he's
jump
in the
or
air. He throws 6 blows that don't land, but just to show that he can it looks kind of fake, but still kind of awesome. Yeah.
And Kurt is completely frozen. Yeah. I mean, it's clear that this thing did not actually happen.
Yeah.
Because it's shown in all little quick cuts or cutaways. But yeah, Kurt's standing there in amazement. And Xian says they must teach defense different in America because your defense stinks.
He hates America so much.
I guess so. But then Kurt again, he begs him to train him. Xian tells him, here, go to the Miley store in the village and bring me back some groceries. And then he's asked him, I think, why. And Xian says, catching people in rope makes me hungry.
Same.
It's like,
same, Xian.
Yeah, no, he's got jokes for days.
He's a funny guy. He's lighthearted and humorous.
Then in a strange moment, as Kurt is leaving off down the trail to the village, Xian calls to his dog Kiki, who we haven't seen before this. And just as a dog person, the second the van rolled up, Kiki would have been investigating. Like, I just imagine Kiki standing off screen, just watching it all go down. No way, dude.
Unless Xian had that dog trained and was like, don't go yet.
I guess so. I don't know. I found myself either thinking Kiki's not the best guard dog then, but maybe that's just all by design.
Kiki is the best. Kiki is well trained.
No, you know what? If Xian saw Taylor's blue van driving up, he's probably hiding out. Yeah, he's hiding out waiting to see what's going on and catch somebody by surprise.
Totally.
All right, I take it all back. Cut to the village. Kurt just comes on the scene and immediately befriends a child carrying a rabbit.
If a Caucasian man wanders into a rustic Thai village in the middle of nowhere and starts touching children and drinking from their water unbidden, I feel like there'd be more of a scene. Like, people would not take too kindly to any of that.
He immediately is touching a strange child. He goes to the water where the old women are doing laundry, and he's splashing water on kids and taking a little half shower in the well. Everyone's just happy to see him.
They're just grinning like this shit happens all the time. Like, hello, American, nice pleats. Like,
I mean, Kurt made himself right at home.
Oh my God. And then the splashing.
He played a game of tag with the children.
Just splashing and chasing the kids. I can't.
There's no way. And everyone's just okay with it. They're not like, get away from my child.
I guess it's it's a good device to introduce some like ne'er-do-wells scoping him out, and he scopes them out, and they're all sizing each other up.
A couple of sketchy dudes are there watching it all happen. So he approaches the grocery store, Miley's store, and Miley, played by the beautiful Rochelle Ashana, she introduces herself. She says that Xian is her uncle, which is, I guess, a surprise. But yeah, she's none of us. How could we know? And this Miley, she seems very surprised when Kurt tells her that Xian is going to teach him Muay Thai.
Right.
She says, Xian doesn't teach anybody anymore. It's
So he'd been doing it for a while, had a bunch come. Too many people came before, and I guess maybe a lot of people didn't make it through the training. They gave up and left.
I don't know what it is. I think it was just that he's the Muay Thai master, right?
It makes me feel like so many people
wanted
before
him to train him. Yeah, it's like you would think after the events of the first Karate Kid film, tons of people would be wanting Miyagi to teach them karate too, because he's clearly he's the best teacher, right? But anyway, as she says this, you sort of see Kurt's face drop. And then she changes the subject. She's asked him, where is he from? He says he was born in Belgium. Now he lives in Los Angeles.
I like that she didn't assume he was American like Uncle Xian did.
Then she asked, why did he come here? He says, I came because my brother came to fight Tong Po.
Right.
As they're having this whole conversation, a couple of the obvious goons are like waiting out of focus in the background. They're just like biding their time. We're going to let them have this exposition conversation.
They're waiting for someone to point to them and tell them to enter the scene.
Yes, they're waiting for their cue. Kurt's telling her about how he's going to fight Tong Po after Xian trains him.
She's like, please don't. That's a terrible idea. He's very dangerous, and he runs the province for Freddie Lee.
Which also, again, that's another thing that sort of doesn't make sense. If he's such a great fighter and a cash cow, like why is he also being made to be a gangster?
That's a great question.
I don't know. But so Kurt asks her, well, why don't you tell the police? She says Freddie Lee pays off the police not to interfere.
Yeah, I can't make trouble or they'll fuck up my store.
That must have been the cue
line
for the goons, because now they approach. They go to register, as it were, which is like a cigar box, basically.
Yeah, they come in to take money, and as they come in, they're sort of immediately aggressive with Kurt. They like shoulder bump him in on the way, like shoving him out of the way. And he intervenes almost like he hadn't listened to Miley when she said that if you do, there will be trouble.
He was lost in her eyes, man. He was not listening. This is the first, I like
that kick over the table on that first dude there. That's pretty nifty.
Yeah, dude. This is really the first time we've seen Kurt actually fight someone in earnest, and he's got some skills.
Karate. Yeah, he beats him up fairly easily.
He beats the shit out of these two dudes easily, but he does kind of wreck her store.
And he also triggers my neuroses because I'm just sitting here thinking someone's gonna have to clean all that shit up. Kurt, you dude. Asshole.
I mean, is that a good move from Kurt to wreck the store of the woman?
Take it outside, man. Come on.
I get that you're being chivalrous or you think you're protecting her, but yeah, he's also just like fucking made her have to stay extra today to get this mess cleaned up. Yeah. So she says, Miley says she's going to get in trouble now from Freddie Lee for all this.
But like so many American military interventions, he rushed to take action in a situation he knows nothing about.
Oh gosh, she's enraged or distressed at least. She says, wait until I tell Uncle Xian about this. This is a new pronunciation that no one else has used in the film.
That's two pronunciations, and there will be a third.
Oh, there's another one coming?
Yeah.
But and I don't know. I don't know. It's shades of over the top.
Yeah.
Where it's a principal character, and you can't keep the name of the character straight.
Oh my God. It doesn't matter.
I mean, if anyone knows the pronunciation, it would be her, the niece.
Well, she's Thai. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's her uncle.
Right.
So she might have the same. She knows him well. She grew up with him.
One could assume that Taylor, after all this time, had never bothered to learn how to pronounce Xian's name.
That's plausible. That's plausible. And Xian, he's just too polite to correct anyone.
Well, even if she doesn't approve, I'll tell you who does. The little old man from the village. And props to that old guy, just old man number one. He is living the life I want, sitting around, smoking his pipe, stylishly
just
beheaded.
Watching the world go by.
Stylishly beheaded. Only I want to do it in a more temperate climate.
His hat was almost like one of the Three Storms hats. Wasn't it from Big Trouble in Little China?
Totally. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. That dude was like loving life.
Yeah, he was digging
probably drunk as hell.
We hope.
Off of whatever, yeah. So now Kurt, he goes back to Xian's. He walks in and sort of, Taylor is just there. But he appears like out of nowhere.
I get the feeling
he's just leaning up against the van.
I get the feeling that like Taylor had pulled up and was like waiting for Kurt to show up, and then Kurt walks out of the woods with the bag, and then no one saw each other until they saw each other.
He's just, he's there like freaking Captain Morgan style. Yeah. He's got like his leg raised up or something. But he's just like, what's going on? Are you coming? Are you going? What's happening? And Xian takes the lead, says Kurt's going to be staying for a while.
Yeah, we have many things to discuss.
Xian really liked the way that he went to get those groceries because he's now willing to train him, or at least willing to consider training him.
Yeah, maybe he also liked his pleated pants. We don't know. A lot could be going through Xian's mind.
So Taylor, he unloads Kurt's many suitcases filled with tank tops and pleated pants,
weird shirts,
I guess, from the van. He says, "All right, I'll be back in a few days." And I think he says, "You're going to live to regret this."
Yeah. Kurt tells him he's like, "We'll see." Again, I think like a fifth, we'll see.
Something like that. He's like, "No, not a chance," or something.
Not a chance. You're right.
He's ready to learn the ways of Muay Thai.
He's ready to take his first steps into a much larger world, as it were.
Shit. Yeah. So now we're about to get to all the awesome training shit that you guys probably all came here for. But that's going to have to wait.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to just tune in next time because you're not going to hear it right now. Bitches.
Not right now. We will be back, though, with a whole lot more Kickboxer for you really soon.
Talk to you guys soon. We'll be back.